I am so excited that you're here. This episode is soft but stern, and I think what so many of us need. We are not the full versions of who we're going to be. We are in so many ways, but behind the scenes internally, we're continually being met with the opportunity to fully let go of old programming and fully step into the new. So let's talk about it. Okay. Obviously, this is mirroring and echoes a lot of the messages that we have been talking about. And that makes sense because it's a pattern. You're right. And I have just noticed this so much in myself. Time's not linear, neither is healing. We all know it's a spiral. And we may cognitively know these things, and maybe as spiritual teachers, healers, you may be teaching these things. Experiencing them, noticing them, integrating them, and shifting them, honestly, should be an Olympic sport. I mean, who's got time? I am so tired, and wow, what a journey. But here's what I love about it. That's the magic, right? And I try not to be the white woman on the internet being like, but it's magic, like you're magic, you know? But that is the truth of what's happening. This is coming in really quickly, so I need to just close my eyes. Okay. So what is happening? So I think about it, not to brag, but I did improv professionally for a very long time. There's a theater in Chicago called the Second City, and there at the Second City, they do sketch reviews. So a sketch is similar to what you would see on Saturday Night Live. Now, when you do a full review, that's 2 acts. So if you've ever been to Broadway or seen a play where there's the act, then you take intermission and you come back. So the same thing happens at Second City. Now, they will run a show for 6 to 8 months, sometimes a year, okay, depending on how well the show is doing. Then they may either stick with that cast or create a new cast, which creates a new chemistry, new identity, new voices, right? So then they have to begin to write their new show. Well, this is one of the most famous theaters in the world. They're not just going to abruptly be like, okay, that show's done, here's our new show, with a cast that has not fully found their footing, right? I know it's a very long metaphor, but it crushes. Stay with me, okay? So what they do is slowly, night after night, they will do the original show, and then in their improv set after the show, where people can stay and get another drink and see this kind of, you get to see the show being made, they will run these different sketches to see how it plays. Almost like a trial reel, so to speak, right? How does this play? And then slowly over time, they will release the old sketches that they were doing, and they will put in the new sketches so that over time, typically about 3 to 4 months, they have their brand new review. That is what's happening to you. That is what's happening to me. That is what's happening honestly, in our collective there is a shifting of that old from that new. So you may be like me and you feel like very fully integrated as far as like your day to day. But now I don't know if it's because we're in Scorpio season or we're approaching Mercury retrograde or just it's 2025 and shit's popping off. You know what I mean? Hard to tell. And because of that, you are experiencing all new things, right? We've already released all of these old things. We're operating as this new identity. You may have new, ways that you refer to yourself. Maybe you used to say you're an author and you're like, I want to expand beyond that. I'm a multi-hyphenate, or, you may have recently had children and now, you're a mother, or you're a parent. So there's all these different ways that we are expanding. And so with that, you may be fully integrated in this new being, this new way of being. And so all of these experiences are new. And so what happens is, again, like last week or 2 weeks ago, when we talked about back to basics, right? We talked about going back to basics. What's happening now is you are experiencing new scenarios, but you are very quickly realizing the very, very deep root of things and how they're affecting you. So as new things are coming up, and you may be responding to them in a new way, right? So let's say you got a flat tire. Maybe old you would have made this such a catastrophe. You would have talked about it for weeks. It would have been your whole personality. And then, oh, it's draining my bank account. This only happens to me, da, da, da. That's the old version of you. Maybe now you get a flat tire and you're like, this sucks. All right, I got to rearrange some things. I'm going to call AAA. I'm going to take it care of, and I'm going to keep it moving. Because you know an inconvenience doesn't need to be any more than that. And maybe it offered you the opportunity to be still, right? So we're going to operate under what is happening, not on what we wish was happening. But still, if you begin to notice, there are things underneath that of, wow, but why did I have the propensity for, extremism? Why did I have the propensity for, oh, this is so, because we may now have healed or worked through to have new responses to things, but we maybe have not fully cleared out and taken a look at, isn't it interesting that I used to respond in that way? Or perhaps you're like me, where this week I was faced with something that seemingly is serious, but not, I don't mean to be cryptic, but you don't need to know my whole life. I already, pretty much I'm on here naked, so relax. But, I was faced with something in my life, and it was not, a huge thing, but it was definitely a big thing. And in that moment, there was a part of me that had very big feelings. I can still feel them in my body. Very big feelings. Feelings of fear, feelings of inadequacy, feeling of, I just want to be like everybody else. And no, I didn't realize that's what it was. I was leading with anger, right? That's easier. I was leading with, they don't understand. I've been clear, right? And then I sat with it long enough and I'm like, oh, that's what's behind that. And here is where that switching in new sketches comes in. Here is where that paying attention to this, being willing to be still, what this new version of you is offering you is the ability to sit with the remnants of the old you. And notice that maybe, my whole body's lit up and I'm very emotional, that maybe this is about the opportunity to let both live. Maybe that's okay. Maybe healing, maybe this powerful version of you, this badass version of you, this I'm going to do it my way version of you, this whatever this new integrated version of you, maybe they have the capacity to hold both. To both sit with old wounds, to recognize it. What do I want to learn here? I don't have to shift this. I don't have to change this. I don't have to do something different to also say, I'm powerful as shit. Isn't it interesting? Thank you, self, for showing me those things. How do I want to operate knowing that those things sit in my heart? How can we separate out emotion from clarity? There it is. How do we separate out emotion from clarity? How do we separate out emotion, our healing, our frustrations? That wasn't fair. They hurt my feelings. I'm betrayed. Why did I get passed over? From your clarity of, that happened. And also, I'm not giving it all my energy. They want to pass me over. That sucks. I don't like it. But guess what? Somebody else wants me. This means I am left open for the thing that I need, right? Oh, guess what, Rachel? These big feelings came up. Guess what? You are worthy. You are worthy. It is fine for you to stand up and be the tall poppy. You are allowed to take up space. And that's the challenge. So many of us think that that's what we do. Oh, look, I'm claiming these new titles for myself. Oh, I've put rest in my calendar. These are great things as I'm shitting on all of them. But with that, when we're able to separate out your capacity to be both staying with yourself and feeling big feelings and then going after with rest and velocity what it is that you really want, you're going to be able to get there at a pace that feels good. You're going to get so much better at it. This is not about like, stand up for yourself, girl. Like that's not, it's a little bit of that, but it's more like true power is being okay to be misunderstood. It's okay to let them talk about you. It's okay that you stated your clarity, that you were clear, that you communicated, that you used your tools, and it still wasn't enough. Because I think that's the trap that so many of us find ourselves in, is it's like, that's that hamster wheel of like, now your personality is like, I'm healing, and we've said it. Nobody likes that person. Okay. 10 toes down. But this is the practice. This is the practice of alchemy. Like if you're watching this, you see how big like my face is getting, just the realization of that, of like, and that's another word. Oh my God, manifestation, alchemy, got my course on alchemizing, alchemy, and which again, I'm glad we're talking about it. But the difference between like Instagram, TikTok aesthetics and like real life work is the work. And I just want to share that with you. So if you're feeling a little defeated, right? This mirrors, this is echoing that back to basics of like how you get tripped up, how we get tripped up, how I got tripped up, not for a long time, but for a minute. Your girl was tripping, okay? Was simply because we're like, but I'm different now. Why would this affect me? It's not void of emotion. The elevation, the evolution, the timeline jump, the quantum leap, whatever, get in where you fit in. But wherever it is for you, it's your ability to hold both your pain and your power at the same time. It's knowing that predominantly it's going to be power. It's going to be sovereignty. It's going to be asking for what you want and knowing if they say no, like no harm, no foul, my dude. We don't take it personally anymore. And I think that was the thing that I came back to in this experience in my life that really brought this idea of alchemy. And can you hold two things at once? Can you do that? Can you be both in the process of the new and the process of the old? And what if the old needs to go versus like, does it want to teach you something? Like, can you just listen to it for a second? And that's what I realized, because my old programming of essentially rushing to a conclusion in a situation that like, that wasn't my responsibility. I was clear. I just wasn't being listened to. And can you be okay with that? That's okay. We live in a flawed world. I may be on a very, very public platform being like, I think I know a thing or two about a thing or two. Like, I am still just drowning a lot of the time because we're human. That is the capacity to hold both. And that is what this message is. It's about nuance. It's about that your growth, your expansion, that leading other people, being a leader is acknowledging your growth edges, is knowing that you have the power to feel those feelings, to sit with it, to understand, to look at those old patterns, that even though you're experiencing a new, and maybe a lot of this newness is like, whoosh, it's already coming in for you, right? You guys know I've been really talking about this since a couple months back now, of like that everything really like, whoonk, there is a full 360 180, because 360 is going to take us back to where we started. 180. I don't know this. I don't do math things. But in March, it's different. It is a fully different landscape. Remember, going back to that Second City show, by March, we are a full new review. This is it. All of, in that metaphor, it's like, they are harmonizing a new cast. And if you can stay with me for the theater girl metaphor, that's what you're doing right now. You are having to harmonize. How do I work in these new spaces? What comes up for me when people say yes? You have gotten so used to hearing no that you have made that a part of your personality. I'm not lucky. Other people get things. I'm second place. I could never. I need to work harder. No, you don't. But as people say yes, because you decided that your self-worth was greater, you decided that it was your turn, you decided that you are divine and so are your gifts and that you get to be number one, same as everybody else, that you are the tall poppy. When you made that decision, guess what? You also signed up to be able to hold the other parts of you. You signed up for, oh, what do I do now that they say yes? What do I do now when I used all of my tools and I went in and I did the thing and it wasn't enough for those people? You accept that the world is flawed. You accept that not everybody is on the same train as you. We may be, I don't love this term, but it's the truth. We may be in the same soul family. If you're listening to this, we are of like mind. We have the same missions, right? That's why this frequency makes sense to you. It's why it resonates with you. It's why when you turn the episode off, you're like, I don't know how she fucking knew my life, right? And I feel that way about you all. I feel that way about other podcasters and teachers and friends of mine and people whose work I engage with. But not everybody's in this, fam. Okay? That is also the work. That is knowing that everybody's only going to be able to see you to the extent that they can see themselves. And it's no longer a cute thing that like, we're going to repost. It's accepting that in real time. That's the alchemy. And this new phase of where you're at, of letting go, that old review is going out and this new one is coming in, is sitting with it. There's not action over the next couple of months, despite it being winter, but it's about learning what is the new way that you take action because it's different. This process of alchemy, this process of oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so emotional. I can feel this switch for every single one of you. I just keep seeing, remember those like, almost like in It's a Small World, and they just kind of like slowly move one way and slowly move back. Like that's what I keep seeing of like, you have slowly been turning and turning and turning towards yourself. And this process, oh, guys, I got to say the comedian me, when things like this come through, it's hard for me to say it, but it's true of like your process of learning to alchemize, your process of learning to be comfortable with hearing yes, so that yes becomes the standard, literally shifts our culture, period. I'm not one for like the new earth language just because it doesn't resonate with me because, I want to, I'm a comedian, but that's what's happening. Our systems are crumbling. Shit's going to get more scary before we figure out what it is anew. And while some of you may be called to really comment and talk about and advocate for what's going on, a lot of you are getting prepared now so that whatever happens, whatever goes on, as we see that full 180 shift in our collective, you're there to help people. So anytime I do this where I'm like, oh, but are they going to like me? Are they going to, it's not about you, girl. Like obviously because my background is like Hollywood and comedy, where like, if you're going on stage as a comedian, guess what? It's all about you. If you're doing stand-up, yes, it is very much, do you like me or do you not like me? But in the capacity of using my voice in this space, in these spaces, it's not about me. Of course, I hope you like me. I will always want to be liked. Okay? That's just how she came in the world. But the reality is that I can't not do the work because it's not about me. It's so that the more, going back to this tall poppy, the more that I rise up despite the weather, despite what happens, despite you're going to get cut down or people are going to say or whatever, like, great, that's the space between your power and your processing. Your emotion and your clarity. That space there is for you to alchemize, to be still with, to learn the magic and the lessons. It lies right there. How beautiful. How great that like the space between those two things now also is not so great. Because old versions of you, might as well have been the Nile. You know what I mean? You're like, a bitch is far away from being able to get up and go to work today. I got an email that said no, and it would ruin your whole week. And now you're just like, all right, that's fine. Even for the things that you really wanted. Because there is a faith of knowing, well, I learned something by going after the thing I really want. And really what I learned was that I can go after the thing that I really want. And even if I don't get it, we're okay. Maybe you've seen this viral trend going around on social media, depending on when you hear this. If you hear it close to the release date, it's like a picture on top and a picture on bottom, and it's the same picture on both. And on the top, it says life when they like you. And on the bottom, it says life when they don't. And on the top, it says life when they say yes. And on the bottom, it says life when they say no. And that's what this is. That you get to decide how you show up. And that space between there now is just our new processing because we closed that gap. And oh gosh, you guys, I am so emotional. Oh, I feel like just a Jewish mom on Yom Kippur. I'm having all of the feelings. I feel everybody's feelings. I want everyone, repent. I really do. I'm just so fucking proud of you, and I'm proud of me. And like, I just want you to celebrate yourself. And I want you to like, yeah, this energy is like such intimate, sovereign. That's a word I've used a couple times in the podcast today. So that's significant. Power for maybe the first time in your entire life, you are completely safe and you are okay, whether they show up or they don't, whether they can or they don't, because it doesn't stop you from doing and being who you know you are. And that will always be rewarded. Friends, I would be remiss to not interrupt this episode to let you know about my upcoming Goal Getter sessions. Your dream life is practical, because vision without action is wasted potential. These 90-minute sessions will give you the structure, strategy, and soul-level clarity to make your vision real. Every 30 days, you'll join a group of like-minded creators, leaders, and dreamers who are ready to move from intention to implementation. Together, we'll break your goals into actionable steps, create systems that support your energy, and build momentum towards the life you're meant to live. This isn't about manifesting. It's about making it real, because your dream life is practical. You just need a plan. Our first session begins December 7th. And a lot of times when we hear that, the throw a rock, you hit a tarot reader on TikTok, which don't get me wrong. If you want to know what I'm doing at 11 p.m., I'm probably there watching the same video as you. Okay. Type in 222 if this resonates. So, no shade. But, she does, she types 222, but say with me, that feeling, that knowing is yours. And this is something that we're going to continue to experience. And that's the reward, because, we sift through all those messages because we want to hear that the reward is external. We want to know, okay, good, I've done all this work and now I get the fucking thing, right? It's still that, and that's fine. We're human. We're just monkeys, you know what I mean? And just like, and nicer clothes. That's it. So be okay with that, and also know that ultimately, no matter the partner that shows up, the amount of money that shows up, the healing that happens, the fame that arises, the health issue that is, eradicated, like any of these things where it's like, man, when I just have that, everything will be okay. That we think that is the reward. And in fact, the reward is the actual ability to self-heal. It's that alchemy. And that's the reward. I'm going to leave it there. I really trust that this episode is just going to fucking blow your mind, because this message came through obviously for me first because I was experiencing it. And when I was trying to figure out, what I wanted to share, and I'm like, man, this concept is so kind of tricky, right? But that makes sense because, again, we have evolved. Our spiritual gifts are evolving. Our ability to hear ourselves, all of these things are evolving. And so these lessons are becoming, you're in AP classes now. Like this, it does take, we got to stretch a little bit to be able to meet the need. And so I trust that it resonates. I trust that it's clear. I trust that there was enough levity to make it fun. And I'm just so grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to share the message. Friends, I know that you maybe heard in the ad of the Goal Getter sessions. I already have some of you that have been coming forward, and you guys, this group is where it's like, we know ball. Like, that's how I feel about all of the folks finding their way to this circle. So I just want to throw that out there because I know a lot of people, you're probably like, I don't know, it sounds good, but when you talk yourself out of it, it's a wildly low investment. We did that. You should have to invest something because you're investing in yourself. But we wanted to make it where like, this should not be something that you really have to strive for. I want it to be something that is available to you, and I want it to be communion. I want this to be a place where our community can grow. There are people on lots of different steps of the journey, so a lot of people that can meet you where you're at, whether that's in collaboration, or maybe you could find a potential client or a coach or something through this togetherness and this community. So if you have any other questions, Mama's a real person, so you can DM me, send me a voice note. I will absolutely get back with you. I will do my best to get back with you as soon as I can. So let me know. I think that's all I got for you. Check out the show notes. If you guys get facials, and I'm just telling you this because like, who doesn't love a facial? And I've got a code and you get $25 off, which is like, pretty significant. So check that out if you're feeling called for a little self-care. All right, you guys, I love you so freaking much. All right. As always, tune out, tune in. Love you, mean it.